back here for Cinephellas. I'm Cowboy Logan Myers. That's my good man over there.
And I'm the Wild Ranch manager, Henry Hill. And we are back. That's right. We've been talking about this show ever since it premiered. Of course, Kevin Costner coming over to TV in a huge role for Taylor Sheridan. Pretty unknown back then. He was more of an actor and, had written some screenplays and had been involved in writing a couple successful movies, Hell or High Water and Sicario, so known for his writing and then coming over and starting this huge franchise for Paramount. And it just took on this, huge, franchise and bloomed into all these spinoffs. And now it's all wrapping up here. We had the final episode just air on Sunday, and we're back to kind of talk about it all. Mainly, we're going to focus on this final season, and we're talking about the final season of
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone.
Ba-ding.
So we getting in this fight?
You're treating me like I'm a suspect.
He will ruin this family's name to save his own.
You should be scared. I know everything.
Yellowstone. New episodes, Sundays at 8.
That's right. Talk about bittersweet. One of the best shows on television. Really set the bar pretty high with, a modern Western. Remember when the show first came out, first season? One of my early reviews I did by myself, not really knowing much about reviewing stuff and TV, and really had my interest in Kevin Costner in this Western and shooting a review of it. And then fast forward, 7 years later, we're coming to the very end of this, very bittersweet on my end. Incredible writing, great character arcs, action, everything that you want in a man soap opera being Yellowstone. And you see some of these characters evolve and others not so much, but you really fall into this world of Montana, everything the Dutton family is going through with people trying to always steal their land, and Kevin Costner and the Dutton family, trying to protect it from the beginning all the way to the end. And you just really fall in this world. Love these characters, and I really enjoyed watching this week by week and seeing what happens next.
Taylor Sheridan was able to make this show so authentic. I think the authenticity of everything is what really makes it work. He owns that actual ranch. He knows all that kind of work, working on the ranch himself and being around that world. So he was able to bring this modern take on a Western, like you were saying, to life here and give all these characters great arcs over the seasons. We've followed them for years now. And this final season, was kind of weird because it was 2 years ago that we saw the last episode of the half of the season, the first half of season 5. So it took a couple of years to finally come back, and of course we had all the drama behind the scenes with Kevin Costner not coming back. So there's a lot riding on these last batch of episodes, and they were going to have to come up with a way to honor that character of John Dutton and also bring the whole show, full circle around from that first episode where we saw, Kevin Costner as John Dutton and him explaining what the ranch meant. And then now all the way to the end, we see his character, right away in that first episode of this, second part of season 5, his character seemingly offing himself, committing suicide. The viewers knew that that wasn't the case, that of course there was a plot behind it, and we found out what happened, over the course of the last batch of episodes. And in this finale, it was all about payback. It was about Beth and Casey. They know what Jamie did, and he was finally going to have to answer for his sins and for doing that to the father.
Ooh, talk about a really great villain being Wes Bentley playing Jamie, the brother that's successful out of the crew, and each season he gets worse and worse, and he's always up to no good, trying to plot and figure out what his next move is. Take the family, kill the father, take the ranch away. That's what his plan was all along. And really, the second part of the last season, they dive into that, and of course, what happens to Jamie's character, which was really incredible. I love what they did there, but it was constant between him and Beth, played by Kelly Riley, always hating each other, throughout the 5 seasons, always fighting, and then her eventually marrying Rip behind me here, Cole Hauser. He gets involved with that. And really, the final episode of this, there was total payback, and it was incredible.
Yeah, these final episodes in this last season, there were a lot of deaths along the way. We saw some unexpected deaths here. Colby seemingly dying out of nowhere, just at the end of the episode, going in to protect the boy there in the stall. We see the horse kind of going crazy, him coming in to try and calm it down long enough for him to get out of there and, to save him. And, he gets kicked right in the stomach and, right in the heart, essentially. He died instantly. It was kind of abrupt and shocking, because you wouldn't expect such he wasn't a major character, a minor character, but, that's what Taylor Sheridan's writing does. Even these minor characters you felt for and you felt something for, and everybody had their duties on the ranch and everybody contributed. Everybody, all those boys and girls in the bunkhouse, from Teeter to Colby, the list goes on and on. Lloyd, you had the old veteran there. Everybody gave it their all. All these, actors and even non-actors that Taylor Sheridan brought in to play these roles. Everybody was cast perfectly, I felt. There were some characters that I didn't like, the characters themselves, but I thought everybody that was cast there, it was perfect casting.
It really was. Like even the characters from the beginning to the end, you actually care about them. Like Teeter, she annoyed the shit out of me when she showed up on the ranch, and then slowly, started liking her and Kobe's relationship. And yeah, I really was rooting for her at the end. Like the rest of the cast, Jimmy's been one of our favorites that we've laughed about for all these years. Kind of the doofus of the group, but him going down to Texas, working there, and seeing what happens to Teeter's character as well. But a character that you're rooting for. Even though he's a big doofus, he has a huge heart and really cares. And there's been some crazy stuff that's happened to him throughout the Yellowstone series. But that's just, Taylor Sheridan, incredible writer, writes really great characters that, keeps your interest. It's a great show across the board here. The cast makes it. Montana is like another character in the show. Beautiful shots of the mountains, where they live basically off the grid. Just really well done. Cinematography scope is huge. It feels like this massive world that Sheridan's really created over the years.
Yeah, it's its own world. I love the cinematography. It's beautiful. The mountain tops, the, prairie lands, even all the small moments where they're herding cattle and stuff like that. It's what real ranchers do, and it's hard work, and they don't shy away from that. They take the time. Even there's, shots where it's like a couple minutes long and they're just, herding cattle. And that's, lends to the authenticity. Like we were saying, the acting on this show, we can't not mention Beth, for me. She just is the MVP of the show. I think she stole it from everybody coming over, especially being a British actress, not sounding anything like she did, just completely inhabiting this role, just being this unhinged daughter, was basically had everything and, inherited everything from John, but was a girl, so had to fight extra hard to get her points across, and was hard drinking, hard partying, and, was the most ass kicking Dutton out of the whole clan, really. And it's just funny because you had Casey there, who's a, former soldier, and she just always was looking to do the best for the ranch, the family. And from the start, she could tell that Jamie wasn't part of the family, wasn't for the best of the interests of the family. And she just killed it. Kelly Riley in that role. She's awesome. So many quotable moments. Just the brutal scenes of her getting beat up over the seasons too. She gets beat to a bloody pulp over the course of this show, and to see where she ends up, her and Rip, made me well up. And they're gonna get their own spinoff, as they should. It's a great couple, and yeah, loved watching them over the years, and love that it all paid off in the end for them.
Beth is the MVP of this series. Absolutely. She got better and better. She's a huge alcoholic, has a lot of problems, but she really cares about her family and the land, and she'll do whatever it takes to protect that. Even if that means getting in a few fights, which she did over the course of the seasons. And a really bad one, of course, at the end here with Jamie. Rip's always got her back, always shows up when she needs them. Really great power couple. Really fell in love with those characters over the years as well. And honestly, Kevin Costner's character, John Dutton, passing away was probably the best thing I could have done for Yellowstone. It was getting a little repetitive over time and turned into a completely different show. The tone kind of change over the past few seasons, but this final part of season 5 really went back to the basics and why we love the show in the first place. It's the characters and a really beautiful send off to all these characters we've been watching over the years, and a really perfect episode across the board for me. It was about an hour and 30 minutes and it flew by. I didn't want it to end because that's just a sign of really great television and one of the better shows of recent memory that's hit TV, and it's gonna be hard to top this. So that being said, I'm gonna give the final season of Yellowstone overall. Ooh, all these seasons. I don't want to say it. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. John Dutton hair pieces.
I have to agree with you. John Dutton being gone this season really breathed the life into the show that it needed and brought it back down. Each season he'd get bigger, he slowly got into politics there, became the governor. It's like the show was getting a little too mainstream and they had to rein it in. It was probably the best thing that happened to the show, having that couple year break and having him not coming back. I think from the start, you could the seeds were already planted with Taylor Sheridan, with John Dutton passing away. I think this was always the plan. I think that's how the final episode was always going to be. It was going to revolve around John passing away, seeing how the ranch passed back to the natives, like they foreshadowed back in the first episode. It all comes back around with Gil Birmingham's character. Loved what they did there. That was a strong message to send to everybody. The way they sold the land back for the same price, as it was back in the early days when the Duttons first came there back in the 1883 series. So really cool at tying up all the loose ends of the show. You hate to see it go, sad to see it go, because I really enjoyed watching this from year to year, but it was time to go. We didn't want to keep dragging it on and just have it getting it farther away from what it was. I'm glad they went out on top, and I too really had a great time with this finale. Wasn't perfect. The final season wasn't perfect, but it was way better than the past couple seasons. And the finale too was able to bring everything back full circle and give the remaining Duttons a great send off and lead us into some spinoffs that are going to be coming. Beth and Rip, and then hopefully the 4/6s. I don't know. I thought that was shot years ago, but maybe there's another. Okay, so yeah, that's probably still coming then, and then we're getting the Madison, which is like a modern day spinoff. So, but this is the OG. You're not going to top the OG series. And overall, this final season, yeah, I too am going to give the final season of Yellowstone, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 Beth Dutton hair pieces.
Get her a drink, stat. Yeah, I wasn't looking forward to watching this because I knew it'd be over, but I was kind of thinking before watching the finale, I'm like, thinking back to 1883, the final episode, they foreshadowed for 7 generations, you'll have the land, you'll give it back to the Native Americans, and exactly what they did. And I thought of that right before watching that. I'm like, wonder if that's what they're gonna do. So really satisfying ending and finale, and again, just beautifully shot. I love the voiceover from Elsa, who was from 1883 as well, and of course the ancestors, all the Duttons, you saw their tombstones and things like that. I thought it was really beautiful and full circle for sure, and makes me want more from Sheridan. With Taylor Sheridan being attached to any project, I'm going to watch it because it's going to be damn good. And he's really building this massive universe. Want to hear from all you wild cowboys out there. What did you like about Yellowstone? What didn't you like about it? What's your favorite season? What did you think of the finale? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to whip, subscribe. Check out these wild rascals on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV, movie news, and reviews.
Thanks to all you guys for watching our Yellowstone reviews over these years now. Like you mentioned, you covered the first episode, and then we started doing weekly for a while. Then we covered the season wrap up. So we've been doing this for a long time. We always get a lot of hits on these Yellowstone episodes and the Taylor Sheridan universe. We're big fans, of course, and love to see more work. And we're going to get to see a lot more, hopefully, very soon. So it's going to be sad not to see Uncle Rip for a little while anyway, until the new spinoff. But we'll still be tuning into Paramount Plus for all other Uncle Taylor shows. And hope he gets back into movies too, because he has some bangers there. So thank you guys again for watching. And until the next Cinefellas Yellowstone review, I'm Uncle Henry Hill.
And I'm Uncle Logan Wheeler, signing out to the next spinoff series from Taylor Sheridan, I reckon. Cheers! Ba-ding!